Hello, welcome to the Lone Show. I'm your host, Dzikamai Lone. In this episode, no regulars, as always, unfortunately. As for our guest, he is from Zimbabwe. He is a mining engineer, and amongst many other things he has done. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dzikamai Gangaidzor.
Hi, good evening. How are you guys doing today?
Fabulous. So, how's life?
Well, life is interesting, and I'm taking it one challenge at a time.
Wow, nice. And is there anything you're currently working on at the moment?
Well, as you mentioned, I am a mining engineer by profession, and one of the main things around mining is that it involves a lot of people. And so I've actually started or embarked on a journey of becoming a transformational leader. And so I am working with T4L.com in order for me to be able to grow my skills and to actually impact 1 million lives and empower 100 businesses within the African continent.
Wow, brilliant. So, what inspired you to take this path that you're on right now?
Like I said, in mining, there's a lot of people and a lot of involvement. And capability building and nurturing, mentoring is one of the aspects that I feel really strongly about. And so when I started this journey, I really found that I needed more tools in order to equip me. And so we've been working in building the platform and then going out towards actually making a difference and an impact. So, two things: people run businesses, and the second thing is wanting to make an impact on a greater scale.
Hmm, very nice. What was life for you growing up?
Well, the interesting thing is that I've actually lived in a few different countries. I've lived in Zimbabwe, Botswana, and now currently in Zambia and the United Kingdom as well for a period of time. So for me, life is all about community. So where I grew up, we had a very large extended family. My mother has like 17 siblings, and we just really got to spend a lot of time with each other. And in so doing, you form bonds that really you cannot actually compare with anything else in the world. So that is one of the major things for me growing up in terms of life, and always about adventure. But where there's adventure, there has to be curiosity, and I was always a curious person, and that's the reason why I started going into engineering, and it really was just to strive and to nurture my curiosity around learning about different things and the impact that it can have around society. Beyond that, there was sports. So, a large, huge fan of sports. I would play sports at any given moment or any opportunity that I had. And so I'm a big sports fanatic at that.
Hmm, fantastic. If you were given 500 acres of land, what would you use that land for?
Huh, interesting. I think one thing I would use it for is actually I would make half of it a farm, and then the other half would probably be some form of an adventure, something or the other. So probably like a BMX track or something where I'm able to cycle through a forest. But agriculture for me is something that is fundamental. The food we eat is critical and cardinal to everything, both for your mindset, both for and including your own general physique. So agriculture, huge space of land, just make food for for not only myself but also the communities around.
Fabulous. How did you spend your last birthday?
Oh gosh, my last birthday. So the thing about me is that I actually don't enjoy celebrating birthdays. I don't like the attention that it gives towards me. But one of the major things in terms of my birthday is Or the reason why I don't celebrate it is because I want to live each day like it's not guaranteed, like it's not, I'm not going to take it for granted. And in the end of the day, that is the key. I just want to take advantage of every opportunity and every moment that I have.
Okay, I can see that. I respect that. If you could live anywhere else in the world, where would it be?
Hmm. It would have to be it would have to be still on the African continent. I would go with Kenya. And the reason why I would go with Kenya is because not only does it has have some of the most wonderful views, wonderful safari, natural landscapes, animals, but it also has the opportunity for you to get in with the hustle and bustle of of some of the major cities there. And when you want to relax, there's also a beach. So I have to go with Kenya. I just enjoy spaces or opportunities where I can be in and amongst people with the hustle and bustle, but on the other side, it's also being able to escape or detach from that world. So I would have to go with Kenya, though it did come close. I did come close to saying um, Bali, because that was the last place that I was at, and but it's Kenya.
Nice. Have you heard of a drink called banana friche?
No, tell me more. What is a banana friche?
Yeah, so it's a banana flavored smoothie slash drink that has all the tingly sensations in the world.
Oh, that does sound interesting. I love bananas and also smoothies of sorts. So I am interested and intrigued. You've piqued my curiosity.
Nice. If you if you can get one thing from one store for the rest of your life, what would that be?
Oh man, it it would have to be one thing from one store for the rest of my life. Huh. It would have to be Thai tea. And it's actually not even for me, it's for my wife. She loves Thai tea. And so that's the one thing that I'd get. And it'll just keep it rolling. As long as my wife's happy, then I'm happy.
Okay, very good. What's the weather like where you are?
It rains every day during this period. And so it is quite cool and refreshing.
Hmm. All right then. Where has been the furthest that you traveled to from where you were originally born?
I'd have to say it's either Australia or the US in Seattle. So either Sydney or Seattle. I don't know which one is further. I have to go with Seattle.
Okay. Cool, cool.
Nothing exciting.
I mean, it's something. I'll give you that. What movie, picture, or video always makes you laugh, no matter how many times you watch it?
I'd have to go with one of the comedy skits from Kevin Hart about um, when you've got a best friend, you expect your best friend to know everything about you. So when you call them and you're in a situation, you expect them to be able to just know. And I've got a lot of friends of mine who I expect to know, but when I call them, they don't come through. So they either and end up getting me in trouble, or I just don't call them in the end. But I have to say that comedy is the centerfold of my it's therapeutic to me. So I absolutely love it. And it's one way that I can actually try to work on my mindset to give myself that positive outlook on life.
Hmm. Yes. Very good. If you had your own talk show, who would you have on?
My own talk show. So I would have to go with probably a politician who's relatively controversial. So I think a Donald Trump, for example, would be somebody who's absolutely fascinating to me, who you either don't like him or like him. And so I would go with somebody who I can really have an engaging conversation. An actual fact would challenge the way that I view life and the way that I perceive certain things. Because I think everybody's got a reason for actually bringing forward their own viewpoints, and the reality is that the more you talk to people, hopefully the closer you become towards understanding where they come from and why they carry those perspectives. And so I would have to go with somebody who's relatively controversial, and it's my opportunity to learn something and to grow from that space.
Fabulous. What is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote. My favorite quote has to be, at times you might think you're being buried, but in reality you're just being sown, meaning you're just about to start growing, and you are, though it seems dark, it is just the beginning of a large journey.
Ah, all right then. If you could turn any activity into an Olympic sport, what would you have a good chance of winning a medal for?
I would have a good chance of winning a medal just probably talking, eh? I think I could go on a long, just a long old talk. Like I don't need much to get me going. And actually in this moment I'm holding myself back. But I think if there was an Olympic sport and it was talking, and it doesn't really need to make all that much sense, that's what I would go with. I mean, when I played cricket, it would be I would be the wicket keeper, and then it would just be constantly just talking to the batsman's ear, like, "Oh yeah, let's go. You're not really good at this," and trying to get into their head. So I think I'm pretty decent at that, and thinking on my feet.
Sweet. What song is 10 out of 10, yet hardly anyone has ever heard of it?
Well, I'm sure people have heard of it, but I just don't think it gets the recognition that it really deserves. And I would have to go with an artist who is a Zimbabwean artist called Oliver Mtukudzi, called Neria. And it's a very soulful song that really just touches me every time. But like I said, people know it, but I just feel like it doesn't get the credit it deserves.
Fair enough. I can understand that. What were the silliest things you believed as a child?
Oh gosh, now this is just trying to expose me. So I I when growing up, I don't know what age it was. My dad one day came to me, and look, I was a huge WWF fan, WWE fan, and he goes to me and he's like, "Oh yeah, when I was younger, I used to be a wrestler, and this was my name, some mysterious guy." And I believed that for I don't know, like 10, 20, 10 to 15 years. I had it in my head that he was a wrestler at some point, and he got me pretty good in that regard. But it was a ridiculous story, and I'm actually feeling dumb that I actually believed it to a degree.
You know what? He could have fooled me too, honestly. But hey, it happens.
Yeah, well, you live and you learn, not to be gullible.
Yeah, exactly. It's better to know now than later.
Yes. Wake up one day like, wait, you not? And I'm 50 years old, and yeah, no, that would just shatter me. No. So yes, now than never.
Yeah, exactly. Would you rather be able to breathe underwater or have the agility of a cat?
Ha. Now, breathing underwater, there are two problems that I feel on that one. The first one is that I would have to then have gills, meaning that my like the side of my neck would like essentially be perforated, and no, I don't think I would like that. Then the second thing is, at what point would I really need such a skill? So I'm gonna go with agility of a cat, largely because it could probably help me get out of situations, and or it it would be fun for my me and my dogs when we go out to play.
Okay, very good. Would you rather not be able to close open doors or not be able to close open doors?
Wait, you said the same thing.
No, I didn't. I said, would you rather not be able to close open doors or
Oh,
not be able to open
open, close
closed
doors.
doors?
Ah, gosh, I have to go with not be able to open closed doors because I couldn't imagine not being able to close the door that I needed to close. So I'd rather walk through life knowing that the doors that are closed are fine, but if the door is open and I don't want it to be open, I can close it. Who knows what's going to come for me at the middle of the night? That door needs to be closed and I need to be able to close it. So that's the only reason why I'm going for being able to close open doors.
Ah, all right then. Fair enough. Do you pour the milk before the cereal or the cereal before the milk?
No. That is almost a crime. You have to pour the cereal first and then you pour the milk. I mean, that is
Yeah, exactly.
you can't do the other way around. How do you know how much like milk you're supposed to put if you do it the other way? No, it does not work. I am that is a no-go for me. If I found out my wife today did it the other way around, we'd have a real serious chat.
Uh,
Yeah, sorry. I feel strongly about this,
I don't blame her.
evidently, but yes, that's my answer.
Fair enough. Yes, I agree. That just makes no sense. Oh my gosh. Oh, I can't stop laughing now.
Oh, what? And what do people usually say on that one?
Well, of course, they're not crazy. They still say they put the cereal before the milk.
Okay, got you. Cool. I was just trying to
So,
make sure that I was not strange or weird or like completely
oh
out of
no,
joint with life.
no,
Yeah,
absolutely
cool.
not. Could be
Perfect.
worse. Oh, that's crazy. What recent news story have you found most interesting?
I think there are the most recent story that I came across was that about in the year 2022, about 600,000, almost more, just slightly more than half a million people died of malaria. And malaria is a very curable disease. It is very, one does not need to necessarily die from it if attended to adequately. And of that 600,000, approximately 95% of those deaths were in Africa, and just under half a million were children under the age of 5. I found that completely mind blowing. And and quite frankly, it is part of that journey that I'm talking about, where looking to impact over a million lives in a transformative way. So that is the one thing that I found out recently. Sorry for it to be so morbid, but I just had to share that small insight that I learned.
Fair enough. It's very important to know that no matter no matter what happens in the world, there is always a chance to make a change for the better, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Do you prefer headphones or earbuds?
Oh gosh, it has to be earbuds. So I really used to love headphones, and then I got the uh, Apple the Air Pros, and now I'm addicted to these things. They clean easy and not as clunky, but also at the same time, I think I lost a couple of headphones over the years because I had to put them away. Whereas these things can stay in my ear and I can live life. So they're earphones that I prefer. Earbuds is what I prefer.
Okay, cool, cool. Do you prefer pens or pencils?
I cannot remember the last time I held a pencil, if I have to be honest. I think I left that when, I mean, so rewind. Back when I was young, the biggest ambition that one had in terms of in primary school was to be able to be allowed to write with a pen. So you'd learn how to write in pencil, and up until the point where your handwriting was good enough and you weren't making too many mistakes, that was when you got your certificate to be able to use a pen. And since that day, I never looked back once, and I told myself, I am done with the pencil. I am moving on to this greater, better life, which is pen orientated. So I prefer a pen over a pencil.
Fair enough. It's easy to rub out mistakes too.
I said a pen, so you can't. I can't rub up mistakes. What you see is what you get.
All right, fair enough. My brain's juiced up, I guess, somehow. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh gosh, I did not think about that one. I have not thought about that. It has to be, hey? It has to be. It has to be a sandwich. What else? You've got two pieces of bread on each side, and that's the pure definition of a sandwich. So my answer is that a hot dog is a sandwich, even though I feel like it's a crime to say that. I feel a bit dirty having said that, to be honest.
It's all right. It could be worse. It's kind of a split opinion, honestly. So
Oh,
no other
if
which
it's
side
not
you
a
are.
sandwich, what would it is? What would it be?
Uh, it's just a sausage on a piece of bread.
Ah, okay. Nah, sandwich it is.
All right then. Would you try space tourism?
Hell yes. As somebody who wants to transform the face of this earth, space tourism is also a function of transformation. So I am 100% in and keen on the idea of doing space tourism, though I don't like the travel portion of it. So you can probably just put me to sleep the whole way through. When I get there, wake me up, and I'll be team tourist. I'll be number one tourist.
Ah, all right then. If life is a video game, like some people would say, what are some of the rules?
Oh gosh. If life is a video game, what would be the rules? And well, the problem that I have in general is that I think we put rules in our way. We put obstacles in our way to actually, and life doesn't actually have all those rules. And so I would have in my video game, the only rule is you can't kill somebody, and probably something around like peeing and using the toilet outside. Those type of things should just be done, in the privacy of a contained space. But the rest of it, no problem. That's my world that I'm living in. That those are the rules.
Hmm,
Just two.
yes. Very good and straightforward.
Simple guy.
Yes, exactly. If you can get an exotic pet, what kind of companion would you like to have?
It would have to be, I think, a llama. I just believe that llamas aren't too high maintenance, but they look so fluffy and soft. So every once in a while when I feel a bit down, I can, like, I guess, pet the llama, but I don't need to necessarily like entertain it or go take it for walks and make sure that it'll look after itself, surely. And so my answer is a llama. That's the most exotic pet I would like to keep.
Hmm, very good. What do you greatly enjoy but wish you could do more of?
It would have to be traveling. Um, I do tend to travel at least twice a year, but if I could do it full time, I just absolutely love meeting people. It's half the reason why I'm on this call, and I absolutely enjoy different cultures, different perspectives, And I just think that it just opens up your mind as to, number one, being grateful for what you have and appreciating sort of the upbringing that one could is used to. But then secondly is how little that we know about the world and how different people value different things. And I think it's just, if I could travel a hell of a lot more, that is the thing that I would do, because I do believe that it gives more than it takes.
Yeah, nice. What app can you not believe someone hasn't made yet?
I was actually talking about this earlier today because I drove halfway to a place, then realized I didn't have the gasoline or the fuel to drive all the way back. And so I then had to call a friend. So the app that I really would want is to be able to like charge or fuel my vehicle just using my phone. So it is like just somehow the fuel enters the car just by me, like pressing the numbers on my phone and then it goes in. So I wouldn't have to recharge the car. I wouldn't have to put fuel in the car. I would just have to dial the number and then that can just automatically be done. Even better off if it was on a direct debit, then it would just sort of just just debit me and my car would constantly either have fuel or be fully charged. So that is the one app that I can't believe somebody has made. I actually think it is so simple. Don't ask me how.
Hmm, that's an interesting concept, actually. I would love to see something like that in the real world.
Yeah.
What could you give a 40-minute presentation on without any preparation?
40-minute presentation about interactions with people and the value and power of people. And so I do so much reading around this topic, and I absolutely love the way individual minds work. I think there's a fascination that I have around it. So if you gave me 40 minutes to have to start talking, I could probably talk for 40 minutes about the human mind, the human interactions, the aspect of morality versus aspect of ambition and passion and what we're all capable of. So those would be the things that I would look to pull on.
Hmm, nice. Very good. What is your favorite summer activity?
It would have to be cycling. Um, when nothing beats a breeze smashing you in the face as you cycle through. I think it's just that's such a refreshing thing, and it's also low impact. So my knees and joints don't have to actually feel and suffer. But I think cycling is for me one of the best and most relaxing summer activities that I could do. And some of the places that you have both within Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, I think you get some really beautiful mountain bike trails or even some really beautiful routes that just are amazing.
Hmm, nice. And that is all we have for this episode. It's great having you on, Giacomi, talking about your work as a mining engineer and your ambitions to bring a positive impact to Africa and many other things. It's been great.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. And until next time, stay tuned for more.